Warning, the following content may contain spoilers for film and television programs. It is also intended for mature audiences. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
Man, you were really
I was
excited.
not ready for that at all.
I just hit record and boom, here we go. Welcome everybody to episode 16 of the CA Podcast, brought to you by me, one of your hosts, Andrew Ormsby, drinking as always my Johnny Walker Black Label. Joining me today we have the zesty Zach Chadwick. How are you doing?
I'm doing fabulous, and I am drinking a luscious Natty Light.
Excellent. And we also have the very animated Austin Fairbairn.
Woo!
You can't see my animation.
You can't see the
it's
animation.
all recorded, but I was awesome.
If we had a video podcast, you would definitely see the animation. What are you drinking today, my friend?
I'm just drinking a Red Bull.
Nice.
Got to keep that energy up, you know?
I hear you.
Pussy.
We're starting later than we normally do. It's actually, 11:30
I know.
in the morning. And we're drinking in the AM still.
Still.
It's never too early to start.
All right.
Well, Natty Light's mostly water, so you're fine.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, I mean, it's like drinking O'Doul's.
Before we get to your skip it or see it, what has everybody been up to for the past week?
Fucking World Cup.
World Cup, yeah. We're playing Portugal tomorrow.
Yeah,
we
and we actually won the first game.
We won the first game.
Yeah,
we're not
nobody
already
on
out
the
of it.
planet was picking us to beat Ghana.
Yeah.
I'm playing Plants vs. Zombies
Oh, yeah?
on the Xbox One. It's amazing.
I'm still house sitting for my sister, and her husband has all the Uncharted games and The Last of Us. And I don't have a PlayStation, so before they get back, my goal is to play every single one of those games
When are they getting back?
Sunday. And I've played the first two Uncharted games. And
You beat them already?
I beat them, yeah.
Damn.
And I'm halfway through The Last of
work.
Us.
Didn't you see the intro to that was like the most depressing thing
The
ever?
intro to The Last of Us has already made it the most depressing game I've ever played. And I thought, like, the Gears of War games, I know that sounds stupid, but the games have been out forever, so if you haven't played them, yeah deal with it. The second Gears of War game, whenever you see Dom's wife and she's actually, like, almost dead, I almost cried. That was some depressing
actually
shit.
played through that game.
Really?
I played some, like, The Swarm and whatever. I haven't played through it.
Which
I'm not
one
into
is that?
third-person shooters.
Gears of War 2?
Gears of War 2, okay. I didn't know
Yeah,
which
Gears of
one.
War 2 you find
That's the
is-
only one I played. It's Gears of War
Really?
2,
So
yeah.
you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
where
Great
like you
game.
see like the whole game he's searching for his wife. You finally find her, you're like, all right, and then he looks away, and then he looks back, and then she's like this rotted corpse. And he's like, oh no. I'm like, oh come on. And then in the
fucked
third
up.
game, he dies, he sacrifices himself, and they
Spoiler alert.
I told you, motherfucker. And the whole time they do it, they have that Mad World, you know, that
That
depressing.
really sad song that
Yeah,
Donnie
just-
Darko.
Exactly.
Yep,
It's just
I love
all.
that
It's just
song.
it's
Tears
just
for Fears, man.
It's a super sad, just piano cover playing in the background,
Yeah.
and like, oh man, that's super depressing. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. But
Slitting your wrist by yourself here.
yeah, really, it's super depressing. Taking
Jesus. I don't even know if I want to play those games
Excuse me.
anymore.
So,
Yeah.
what movie are we doing your review on, Zach?
I saw A Million Ways to Die in the West.
I'm sorry.
You know, I'm been a Family Guy fan for a long time, so I wanted to see it. Seth MacFarlane, and it's got Liam Neeson and MPH and Giovanni Ribisi and Charlize Theron and Amanda Seyfried and Sarah Silverman and a bunch of other fucking people that are all friends with Seth MacFarlane apparently. But one thing I realized in this movie, and I don't know why I never noticed it before, but Charlize Theron is fucking hot. Never realized how amazingly beautiful that woman is.
Really?
Never
Was
did.
the only movie you saw her before Monster or something?
Honestly, I don't remember a whole lot that I've seen her in. But anyway, the whole movie, it's funnier than you think it is. It's not as bad as people have been painting it to be, but I think part of that is because I like Seth MacFarlane anyway.
Yeah.
But I would give it a see it, but I can understand why people wouldn't see it. Does that make sense?
So are you saying if you're like a big Seth MacFarlane fan,
If you
you'd
like
enjoy
Family
this?
Guy, if you like Family Guy or American Dad or Ted or anything the guy has done, see this movie. It's pretty funny. There's a really funny sequence with some Indians towards the end of the movie that's pretty good.
Native Americans, Zach. They're Native
Sorry,
Americans.
Native Americans. That was racist. The problem with Seth MacFarlane that I can see is two things. People are either going to get tired of him because he's got so much shit right now.
Yeah.
And everything he does reminds me of Family Guy. Like, even though none of the jokes he did were in Family Guy, everything, I'm like, oh,
It's a style
I
of
could
humor.
see that in Family Guy.
Yeah. Okay, knowing what you know now about the movie, would you go back and spend the ticket price to see it?
Yeah, I'd see it.
Okay.
There's a really funny part after Amanda Seyfried leaves Seth MacFarlane at the beginning of the movie and goes with MPH. And MPH has this really elaborate mustache that curls up like this. And Charlize Theron goes over to the table and starts talking to him. Amanda Seyfried making fun of how big her eyes are. And she said, you've got this wonderful guy throwing himself at your feet and you're with this asshole. And MPH is like, well, thank you, before he realizes that it's not a compliment. I laughed harder at that than I probably should have. It's a good, I'd see it, but it's an acquired taste.
Okay. So there you have it, people. See it. We have only had, I think, 2 skip-its.
I believe so.
Yeah,
And
I'm trying to think of what they were, but
16
I can't remember
episodes now.
Yeah.
I had a skip-it, and it was for 300 Rise of an Empire.
Mine was for RoboCop.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there we go. Those were our 2. Okay.
We only watch the highest quality movies.
Right.
I think we just plan on watching movies that we know we're going to like, and there's just every now and then a movie that just actually we're not a fan of.
That's what I tried to make. My brother, we get in fights all the time because I'll see a preview for a movie and like, that movie looks badass. And then I'll go see it and I'll come out of it, I'm like, it wasn't that great, dialogue heavy, not enough this or that. And it drives him insane because he doesn't understand it.
Well, we've said it 1,000 times. The way our podcast is set up, it's not a critique of films. It's more of a celebration of films.
Yeah.
We don't really like to talk about films that we don't like all that much.
I'm not telling you why the movie's bad or good. I'm telling you why I enjoyed it
Except
or
for
didn't
Star Trek,
enjoy
that
it.
stuff's shit.
That
Sorry.
is
It's a
that
good
is
movie.
a fun movie.
It's a good movie.
You asshole.
I said it a couple weeks ago. I watched the second one, went back and watched the second one, and it was actually really good.
Yeah,
I
it's
enjoyed
not
it.
bad.
I enjoyed it much more than my first run through of the first movie. So
All right. So we're going to move on now to the news segment of our podcast called Speaking Of. This week we have 11 items up.
Sorry.
A baker's dozen.
isn't
Baker's dozen. It's 13.
No.
Speaking of, I just went to Hertz Donuts last night for the first time.
Fucking
Oh,
delicious.
Delicious.
Just now?
Yeah, just now. I'm just
Wait, did you have
like a
one of
fucking
their
special
savory donuts or did you have an actual like donut?
Now,
treat.
Hertz
I
is...
had multiples.
We're going to get very, very regional with this next one. Hertz is the one that's on...
Over by the square.
yeah,
It's
the
over
square.
by
Harbell's, yeah.
yeah.
They have the best, hands down. I had a blueberry fritter. Mm-hmm. Oh, dude. Win.
Fruity Pebbles donut.
I saw that one.
I
man.
saw-
Blew my mind.
I had the monkey bread donut.
What is that?
It's got caramel on it, cinnamon and sugar, and sea salt. It's delicious. The perfect blend of
Dude,
sweet and
I don't
salty.
know.
Really?
I'm not a fan of caramel.
I like... You say caramel. I say caramel.
Yeah,
I'm one
whatever.
of those assholes. It just sounds so much
Do
better.
you like that with your pecans too?
Oh, no. I don't say pecan.
Aren't they doing like?
I just think caramel sounds much more delicious than caramel. Caramel. That sounds like
Chocolate.
Walking Dead. Carl.
it's like people who pronounce that Johnny Depp movie chocolate and then
It's
the other-
chocolat.
it's chocolat.
Chocolat.
Aren't
No,
they-
I think only women pronounce it chocolat.
Aren't they doing like cheese and sausage donuts now or some shit?
I know they have the bacon maple bars.
Yeah, they have those.
Delightful.
You know, actually, the first time I went to Hertz Donut, I didn't know that it was one of those over-the-top donuts. I was like, hey, can I get a glazed donut? They're like, we don't have glazed donut. Could I get a chocolate donut? We don't have chocolate donuts.
When you
we
eat-
only have funky-ass shit.
Well, one of the ones we got last night was a s'mores donut. So it was basically
Ew.
just a chocolate glazed donut with a roasted marshmallow in the middle of it. It was actually really good.
I think I am one of 6 people in the entire world that doesn't like s'mores.
Thank you.
And apparently-
You don't like s'mores
No.
either?
And apparently two
Thank
of them
you.
are at this table.
All right.
Thank you.
I knew there was a reason I liked
I
it.
don't-
Well, you're
I
both
just- I'm
un-American.
not with it.
Go
It's-
fuck yourselves.
If you took out the marshmallow and it's just
I hate
chocolate-
marshmallows. That's
Thank
what it is.
you.
I hate marshmallows.
If it was just chocolate and graham crackers, it'd be the best thing on the
I don't
planet.
eat chocolate. Like I don't eat chocolate candy.
No,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
fine.
not a big chocolate candy
I just
person
don't like
either.
marshmallows. Okay, anyway.
Okay, yeah, we got to get to
Speaking
this
of-
this baker's dozen.
All right, so
-2.
Yeah.
First news item: Jared Leto is replacing Will Smith in the upcoming Brilliance film. That's the movie about all these people who it's kind of like
savants.
quasi heroes. They have abilities. The one girl can disappear when nobody's looking at her. That's a really weird ability.
Yeah. I know. I think this is an interesting casting choice. It'll definitely change the focus of the film. I feel like
Jared
It kinda has
Leto's
to.
getting all kinds of work.
Yeah. Well,
You say I think it's Leto, but we're not going to.
Leto, whatever.
I always
fuck.
thought we were talking about this in an earlier podcast. I thought Jared Leto should be in the upcoming season for True Detective.
Yeah.
I think
That
he'd
would
be
be
a
awesome.
great installment. And we just confirmed that there is going to be 3.
Yeah.
We didn't confirm it; they confirmed. it.
HBO confirmed.
we have an inside track.
We
to
spoke
HBO.
of the confirmation.
Yeah. 3
Oh.
leads in True Detective. Next season.
Also, from last week, before we get too far into Brilliance, we were talking about The Stand last week.
Yeah.
So Ben Affleck is not directing it. He was going to, but then he dropped out so he could be in the Batman Superman film. So now the new director,
Suck.
the new,
You know why it's gonna suck?
Why?
Because Aquaman's in it.
it's Jason Momoa.
I love Jason Momoa, Khal Drogo, badass. The dude's awesome. Aquaman is the lamest superhero on the planet. Go.
Okay, the new director is Josh Boone, who's going to be doing The Stand, and he's the one that said it's going to be the 3-hour R-rated film.
Which is great because
'Cause
that's what
that's-
it should be.
Yeah. For those of you who probably don't know, Josh Boone, he was the director of The Fault in Our Stars, the new movie that just came out that had every daughter,
That's
mother in
making
the
$1
world.
billion fucking dollars.
Yeah. That's his only movie he did besides a film in 2012 called Stuck in Love. So he has a romance film. He has a super depressing movie
Romance
about
film.
romance. And then he's going to be doing, out of left field, The Stand, which is...
Isn't that book depressing in parts though?
It's depressing. Pretty much what the book is about. It's a Stephen King book. A super flu that was genetically engineered by the government for experimentations to try and find, like, from what I understand so far in the book, they were trying to find if they could find a cure for this flu, they could cure all flus because I guess they all share a same
Yeah.
genetic marker.
genetic marker.
Little did they know it would turn out to be the plague.
Well, it accidentally got out. Like one of the
They knew it was going to happen. They're just dumbasses, like
Yeah.
actual government.
Isn't that
Yeah.
what happened in 28 Days Later?
sort of. Well, I guess an infected rage monkey bit.
Right, but the
Member
monkey
of-
got out.
No, they bit a PETA member, and then the PETA member killed everybody. So, 28 days later, what that movie really is saying, fuck PETA, you destroyed the world. But for The Stand, pretty much, apparently there's already a few people out there that had a immunity to the super flu. And then it takes a weird but cool left turn where the forces of good and evil, like heaven and hell, have come up to try and rally.
So there
these
always has to be
last.
some like supernatural thing. in
It's Stephen King,
book.
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
like Randall Flagg, the Man in Black from The Dark Tower, my favorite. He's in this,
Yeah.
and he's the forces of evil. He's trying to gather all the remaining souls on Earth, and then there's another person trying to get those people together for the good of the world. And they're going to have the big standoff. So that's what the book is. And it's really... And you said you saw the miniseries back in 2000
Oh
or
man,
97.
it's
something
been a
like that.
while. It's in the 90s, I think, and it was all right.
It was pretty good. I got way off topic.
I
but-
want to see you segue back into this next news bit.
Okay. Let's
Stephen King's kind of weird. So is Jared Leto.
Okay.
Boom.
Oh, I got it. Will Smith was originally one of the people up to be in the Jason Bourne franchise.
Really?
Speaking of Jason Bourne, yeah, he really was.
I did not know that.
Speaking of Jason
Huh.
Bourne,
I don't think I would work.
it would not have worked. The 5th installment in the Bourne franchise has been pushed back all the way until 2016.
Is Jeremy,
Matt Damon and Jeremy Renner are both in talks to be in the new one together.
Okay,
that'd
I
be
can see
good.
that.
I like Jeremy Renner a lot.
And I think the director's Jason Lin.
The guy that did the last 2 Fast and Furious movies that
Yeah.
made a fuck ton of money.
Yeah.
Nice. I do
Not
bad
bad movies,
I do
really.
like Jeremy Renner, but I thought Matt Damon was better in the part. But I don't think that was really his fault because just I think the movie as a whole wasn't as good.
Right.
I
So-
liked The Bourne Legacy, the Jeremy Renner one.
It wasn't
Still
bad.
haven't
I just
seen
didn't
it.
think
It takes place during
The last
Matt,
one.
The last
Yeah.
Matt Damon movie, like as a side
Because
story.
it's got a couple people from that series in this
Yeah,
movie,
they
too.
intertwine the
Yeah.
story a little. Like he'll be walking past the TV, and Matt Damon will be on the TV in the background. Like here's
Which
Yeah.
is really smart because for this movie they can, merge their
Exactly.
stories back together.
I'm fine with them pushing it back if it means the movie's going to be better.
I'm right there with you because people always like, well, people are just going to lose interest. People aren't going to lose. People don't lose interest until like a trailer comes out, and then that's when a year goes by, and then people are like, I heard about it. It's that visual aspect that really draws people in. Hearsay doesn't do it.
There's a fine line because we agree, push it back, better quality movie.
Yeah.
But if something has been, supposed to come out for years and years and years, people will eventually just get sick of waiting.
Yeah.
Martin, I'm talking to you. No, I'm just kidding. But
All right.
seriously. All right. So,
Speaking of the year 2016, John Spates, the writer for the film Prometheus, has been hired by Marvel to create the screenplay for the upcoming Doctor Strange film set to come out in 2016. I didn't like Prometheus.
I don't think anybody liked Prometheus.
I haven't seen it, but I really want to.
Don't.
It's I
Yeah.
mean,
I'm
it
not
might
really
be worth a
so
view,
much
but-
promise.
Here's the problem. I'm not into alien movies anyway. So I don't think it would matter if I watched it or not. Fucking Twitter.
Guy Pearce says he still wants to be in Prometheus too.
They're going to make one.
They are.
Numi Rapace will be in it. Michael Fassbender will be in it. And Guy Pearce will probably be in it. I don't know. I haven't seen it. Don't tell me because I'll eventually watch
But anyway,
it.
okay, so he's also
but-
working with the.
Okay. The director or the screenwriter for Captain Phillips, Billy Ray.
Billy Ray Cyrus.
No, not Billy Ray
okay.
Cyrus. Him and John Spates are getting together to reimagine The Mummy.
Whatever. Fuck that series.
You didn't like The Mummy with Brendan
I
Fraser?
liked the first one. The second one was okay. And I haven't seen the one with Jet Li.
It was awful.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Actually, the second one was pretty bad
This
too.
is another example of...
No, wait, which is the one that had The Rock in it? That was two,
That was
wasn't
the
it?
second one.
God,
Yeah.
that movie sucks so hard. The worst.
You know why it sucks
the
so hard?
worst
Because they
CGI in the
advertised him as being in it, and he was in it for 5 minutes.
But the 5
That
minutes he
pissed
was
me
in it
off.
were awful. It was so fucking
I have
bad.
no idea who she is though.
I thought the backstory was bad.
Rachel Weisz?
what
Rachel Weisz? She's super hot.
is she? I don't know if that's one. No, not the main girl. It was either the second movie or it was the Scorpion King like offshoot series.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of the two. Really dark complected, dark haired girl. At one point in time,
The one that was Ematep's lover.
yeah, and they're in
Yeah.
the rocker in the tent together.
Yeah.
She's fucking hot.
Yeah.
That's no, she is. That's a awesome movie right there.
No.
Just fast forward to that part.
I didn't care for the series that much. I'm not a huge Brendan Fraser fan. But I like Oded Fair, who was the protector of the fucking book and shit.
Did you ever see the episodes of Scrubs with Brendan Fraser in it?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was really
That
good.
was
Those are
sad.
some of the
Really
best
sad.
Scrubs
Yeah.
episodes.
Sad as
I know.
shit.
But I'm really excited about Doctor Strange because he's a really good super.
You
I
know
love his
about Doctor
backstory.
Strange in the give people a backstory as to what Doctor
He
Strange
is
is.
a doctor, a really talented doctor, and his
Strange.
Like
his-
House,
kind of, but I think he's better.
less
Anyway.
crippled.
Yeah, not crippled, but his sister dies and he tries to save her by becoming a doctor. Doesn't work, so he becomes this.
Wait, she dies and
No,
then
no,
he tries to save
she's
her.
dying,
Okay.
and he tries to save her.
Like,
Doesn't
are you sure
work.
he's a good doctor?
Not the best. So she dies. He becomes a cynical dickbag who gets involved somehow. Like he sees these sorcerers running around that no one else can see. And so they're like, oh, this guy's got the fucking talent. And he eventually becomes Sorcerer Supreme and fucking badass. Really cool character. It's like
This guy's got talent. So they're
he's the
sorcerer
male-
talent
he-
agents. This
No,
guy's
no.
got the game.
No, he sees it when there's anyway. He's kind of like Scarlet Witch. He's the male version of her, kind of.
Okay.
I could see if this wasn't set in a superhero world, I could see this being a story about a guy just going crazy with grief and seeing sorcerers, and they're not really there.
Yeah, totally. I just really hope the word is they're Jared Leto's on their short list, and I really hope they don't get him. I hope.
I
he
thought
doesn't
Benedict
do it.
Cumberbatch was supposed
Benedict
to be.
Cumberbatch and one other fucking guy I can't remember, and Jared Leto.
Okay.
I really don't want Jared Leto.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing against the guy. I'd just rather have somebody else. Get
Doc-
Pedro Pascal. He'd be awesome.
That'd be cool. Doctor Strange the musical.
Yeah.
Speaking of musicals,
Yeah. Speaking of musical, hey, good.
that was a hard right turn for a segue. I know. True Blood. As soon as it's going to end, this is the final season coming up. It's in talks to become a Broadway musical. Here's a question for you guys: is this the worst idea of all time?
It can't be any worse than Spider-Man: Turn of the Dark.
Okay. Apparently, it was a good idea. It just was
They couldn't execute
executed
it.
poorly.
Right. Apparently, the couple times it ran, it was amazing, but it's just been so plagued by problems they can't do it. So I could see this as being probably worse than that.
An idea is just it's awful.
Well, it is, but here's the thing: is the show is already so over dramatic at points that it kind of lends itself to the stage, and also, if the play does like the show where it doesn't take itself too seriously, well, like the show sometimes takes itself too seriously, but if the play doesn't and makes more of like a kind of a satirical look at the True Blood world, then maybe I
see
could
that
see it
working.
not being horrible.
This-
But yeah, I think it's not going to
Let's
work
just
out well.
ask the real question that everybody wants to know: is Alexander Skarsgård going to be in this musical?
God, I hope not. I have a lot of respect for the guy.
Yeah, me too.
He's gonna be Tarzan.
Yeah.
Question:
I'm
how
not
much
interested.
tit can you show on Broadway? Because that'll be
Dude, Daniel Radcliffe butt ass naked in one of his Broadways, so
Really?
apparently
Sure.
he can go full frontal, man.
Yeah, what is it? Equius?
I don't know.
It's Equius.
I just remember this.
I don't know why I asked. I know it is.
You
I
know
saw-
you know your nude Radcliffe.
He gets naked with a horse. He gets naked with a horse.
Does he have a Harry Potter?
I do not know. I've not seen
that.
it.
That was good.
Speaking of bad ideas, TGI Friday servers had to get rid of their Flare because of Office Space.
I had
Honestly,
to have you explain this to me because I had no idea what the fuck you were talking about when I saw this.
You haven't seen Office Space?
No, I've seen Office Space. I just
he didn't know what Flare. What he knew
I,
they
I-
were.
I
you
buttons.
don't
didn't-
remember
I
that?
didn't catch that.
He knew they
yeah.
were buttons and stuff like that. Okay, that's one of the main reasons that not main reasons. It's a reason that people go to TGI Fridays is so they can have Flare jokes. You know,
Yeah,
besides their delicious
that's such a funny movie.
drink specials they have.
I
Fridays
guess
is-
I get it. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just them not wanting to make anybody else some money, so they get rid of it. Now people can't,
Who was making money off of it besides TGI Fridays though?
That's true, but you know, on the other hand, this could just be a promotional thing. Like, hey, no one's talking about TGI Fridays right now. Let's give them something to talk about. So
That-
now people,
that-
now
I
we're-
can see
like,
that.
when else would we fucking be talking about TGI Fridays on the
I
podcast?
can see
We
that.
would only have 10 items on our news.
Exactly.
Hey, a baker's dozen. Okay, I can't really tie this next one in, but I am really excited about it. Can you guys think of anything?
Oh, segue.
TGI Fridays is delicious, just like the delicious nominations that the,
Heyo!
that was.
That was really bad.
I'm sorry.
Emmy nominations are set to be announced live July 10th.
Now I'm going to be gone in Alaska for the July 9th. The July. No, I will be back, won't
Yeah,
I?
you'll be hunting moose and polar bears and shit.
Yeah. So I'll be back. So the week, the podcast. Oh shit! I will be gone. So and whenever. Okay. So for
Anyway, the week-
episode 18, whoever the third person you're going to have on the podcast, make sure you guys talk about your
Emmy
Emmy
noms.
nomination predictions.
For sure.
Okay.
No, because we'll save that for when you get back.
No, because I won't be back. That's what I'm
The
saying.
Emmys aren't going to happen for another couple months.
No, I want to talk about who you think is going to be nominated.
Oh.
And then when I get back, we'll talk about who we think should win.
All right.
Does that make
With you.
sense?
Sounds good to me.
Totes.
Okay. So yeah, talk about while I'm gone who you think will be nominated.
I'm excited because there's people.
And you don't have to go through everything, just like highlights, like stuff like that.
There's a lot of people I hope get noms, and a lot of people I hope win.
Pedro Pascal,
Hope he gets a nom for what is that category?
guest
Guest?
appearance,
I hope he gets it, and I hope he wins.
because they had a list. Game of Thrones put out their list of who they threw in for the Emmy nominations.
Him and Diana Rigg, The lady that played the Queen of Thorns, and then Peter Dinklage, obviously.
Yeah.
McConaughey.
I think House of Cards is just
Kevin Spacey's probably going to.
He's going to clear.
He was
everything.
so good.
Netflix this year is just going to destroy when it comes
That's
to
so
Emmys.
weird because if you think about it, was House of Cards their first original series?
First,
Yes.
yeah, was it?
Wait.
I think it was.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so they really just came out of nowhere to just start making quality original series.
It was House of Cards, and Orange is the New Black, and then the weird fucking one.
Hemlock
Hemlock
Grove.
Grove. God, that sucked. I thought Hemlock Grove was before Orange is the New Black.
It might have been. I know, but
I know it
House of Cards was
sucked hard.
But they've come out with some. They never did original content, and for them to just come out and start doing great shit,
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Speaking of Netflix, they are creating. This is weird. They're creating their own cyber talk show. Like Chelsea Handler is going to be. Excuse me. Chelsea Handler is going to be the host. I'm not really a fan of Chelsea Handler.
Me either.
Yeah, she's okay.
We just talked about,
She's too annoying.
I don't
we just talked
hate
about how
her.
strong they came out of the gate with their original stuff, and this just seems like an odd choice. I mean, you think they would?
That
I don't
natty's
know.
making you burp like none other, bro.
Yeah, I know. She was fine on her talk show. I mean, I don't hate her, but she got ratings.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what they're going for. Because they're trying to pull in all those people that watched E, which is what her show was on. And this is just a ratings grab, which is fine. Everybody does it.
Yeah.
Except HBO.
I just don't know if she's really going to pull in enough to make this a cost efficient endeavor.
But if you think about it, talk shows probably aren't that costly. Of everything they could do, it's probably the least costly.
It is, but to pull Chelsea Handler away from her contract she probably had with E,
She was out.
she was already
Yeah,
out.
they either fired her or she left because she didn't like the limits they were putting on her.
Okay.
So, yeah, whatever. I'm not going to watch it. My wife will watch it. She loves Chelsea Handler.
Well, there you go.
Whatever.
But yeah, Netflix. I trust their content besides Hemlock Grove. If I could go back in time, I would totally just
Not
nick
watch
that one
it.
out. Yeah, I wouldn't watch it. Speaking of going back in time,
What?
Looper director Rian Johnson, he will write the script and direct Star Wars Episode 8. Which,
Excited.
yeah, it's a great idea. I thought that J.J. Abrams was going to do all of them.
J.J. Abrams is like the executive producer. I don't think he's obviously directing all of them, but he's the one that has final say over everything.
I'm nothing against Rian Johnson, but I would have trusted J.J. Abrams to push the whole thing straight through.
Oh, me too, but I'm totally with this because the guy already has sort of a sci-fi experience. Looper was awesome.
It was a good movie.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
So I could see it working for sure, but it could also suck.
If Rian Johnson does a Star Wars film and he's also writing the script, I could see it being a very dark, sort of like how Empire Strikes Back. The
Maybe that's what they're going
film,
for.
the second film is always the darker in each trilogy, like the prequels, the originals, and then now these new ones. The second one is always the darker. So if you were to get somebody, I think Rian Johnson could do a fairly good job because Looper was pretty
Really good.
Yeah, it was good.
I'm trusting Disney to not let these suck. Because Disney, I mean, I'm trying to think of a bad movie I've seen that was a Disney movie, and I can't think of any.
I don't know if Disney.
I can
What
see
I'm trying
it
to say
really
is
working.
Disney is so kid oriented. I'm afraid that they won't take it to the place it might need to go for it to.
I think they will because they see how much earning potential this series has.
Question.
They haven't disappointed me with Marvel, but then again, they haven't done. How many Marvel movies have they done?
Question.
Answer.
With this new series of movies, do you think we're going to have this generation's Ewoks or Jar Jar Binks?
No.
I like Ewoks.
Shut your fucking mouth.
Whether you like them or not, they definitely
But
they definitely bring a humor aspect and definitely like a more kid aspect to the films that weren't there in the original ones.
I don't
think if
see
they,
it do,
I think if they
happening.
do, it'll be a human character. The reason I'm saying that is because J.J. Abrams, he did that with Star Trek. He did it with Simon Pegg.
yeah.
Okay,
And
if they do it that way, it will work. If they do it the Jar Jar Binks way, no, because there was so much backlash and still backlash off of that. There would be people that would never go see it.
And Disney, unlike George Lucas, cares about what people think. So they might.
George Lucas doesn't give a fuck. He sold the series
Yeah.
and made his money. That's not counting. That's crazy. They sold Star Wars for what, $6 billion, $7 billion in that range.
Yeah.
That's not counting all the fucking money he made from 1976 to when he sold it.
Oh yeah, all the merchandise and everything else, it's just ridiculous.
You know what? Was it Fox? It was Fox that put out the original series. It was one of the. It was their publishers or whatever you want. Distributors. And he went to him and said, I'll pay for most of this. Just give me merchandising rights. Like, yeah, this movie's not going to fucking do anything.
Yeah.
You think that CEO got fired after the first movie came out?
That's awesome.
All right, anyway. Speaking of Star Wars, and
I can do this.
do it.
Okay, so J.J. Abrams is directing Star Wars Episode 7.
Right?
He also directed Star Trek that had Chris Pine in it. Chris Pine was in Unstoppable. So was Rosario Dawson. Speaking of Rosario Dawson, she has been cast in Netflix's new original. Man, I should have put that one earlier when we were talking about Netflix. Motherfucker. Okay, she's going to be in Daredevil. The more people I see that are going to be in the show, the more confidence I have. First, we talked about last week, Vincent D'Onofrio is going to be Kingpin.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to be brilliant as Kingpin.
Yeah, me too.
They haven't said what part she's going to play, I don't think.
I don't know, but like you, every time they add another cast member to the show, and everything I've read with what they're going for, they're going to right all the Ben Affleck wrongs with Daredevil. Hey,
That's the best thing they could possibly do because there's such a cloud hanging over this. Like,
it's
franchise.
like the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
It's shit every time something with it comes out. Granted, the superheroes aren't that fascinating to begin with, but
Yeah.
Daredevil just can't seem to get off the ground. And that's fine. I mean, I don't care. I hope it's great because it sounds like it's going to be good. It's Netflix. They make good shit. But, anyway.
It says Rosario Dawson will play a dedicated young woman whose quest to heal the wounds of Hell's Kitchen brings Matt Murdock unexpectedly crashing into her life. So I guess she's just playing, I don't know.
I think she'll be a focal point, obviously, because she's a big enough name to pull in people. Yeah, I mean, whatever. It's fine. It'll probably be decent. I mean, speaking of healing wounds, Tracy Morgan has been discharged from the hospital and heading to a rehab center. Did you like that segue?
That was actually too good.
It made too much sense.
It made way too much sense.
Good for him.
Yeah, congrats, man.
I mean, I'm sure you got Solid's pictures and stuff.
I haven't.
That thing was wrecked.
Oh, yeah, I did see
Oh, were you
some
talking
of
about the
them.
ones on TMZ that
No.
Louis C.K. was trying to get taken down?
No, it was
I'm talking about the ones that was on
like
like CNN.
CNN. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just like a picture of the wreckage after like.
Apparently, that
EMS
Walmart
alert.
driver was like speeding 20 miles over in a construction zone. So that motherfucker's going away.
He was
for
probably
a while.
high on meth.
They said he
Just
fell
be
asleep
honest.
behind the wheel.
Okay, so he wasn't doing enough meth. One of the two.
Anyway,
Yeah, I can't.
we don't have anything to go to this
Can't-
last
can't
one.
Connect meth and Aaron
But
Sorkin
since
anyway.
since Austin's such a fan, we'll let him take this one.
All right.
Yeah.
Aaron Sorkin is in talks to write the script for Flash Boys. That's a book by Michael Lewis. It gives an inside analysis showing the stock market is rigged to benefit the top Wall Street investors, which I think we all know by this point.
Yeah, is that a fucking mystery?
I guess it's an older book, but
Is
Aaron,
it?
Aaron Sorkin? He's gonna do great. That's
Yeah, I mean, there's no question. Is it a like a fictional book, or is it one that like tells a real story? Or do we know?
I think, if I'm not mistaken, isn't Michael Lewis the one that wrote the book Moneyball?
yes.
Yeah, he writes a lot
Really?
of financial true stories, but the way he writes is almost like fiction, but it's true stories. If you go back and read some of his books, there are some great books that he does. And
Guy
they're
that
all
wrote
about the
Moneyball.
stock market and like
I'll
how
watch that
money
shit.
statistics figures things out. So it's definitely
I'll watch it.
a good thing.
Yeah.
Sorkin writes good shit. I'll watch it right now.
All right, that does it for Speaking of News segment. Now we're going to move on to trailer talk. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a baker's dozen trailers to talk about this week. All right, first trailer up, The Liberator. The life story of Simon Bolivar is going to be played by Edgar Ramirez. He was in the Carlos miniseries, and he was also in Wrath of Titans. Simon led this army against the Spanish Empire that was stationed in North America. He fought in over 100 battles. He covered a territory twice the size that Alexander the Great did. The tagline for the movie is "He never conquered, he liberated." It could be a pretty good movie. Directed by Alberto Arvelo.
Yeah,
He did
we
a bunch
couldn't
of
find a whole lot
Latin
on
films
him.
I've never even heard of.
Which I saw the trailer. It looks like it has a chance to be
It
decent.
looks like it's potential.
If it is good, I could see it getting some nominations because that's the kind of story that critics love.
It could be also one of those films that a very deceptive trailer where it looks really good.
Yeah,
Because I kind of got that feel from like, oh, it's one of those where it looks like it could be an Oscar contender, but it's going to be one of those
Yeah.
that sneak in
I can see that.
a mirage,
I can see
and
that.
it could just be a meh film.
This is another like little bit of regional relevance, but I mean, obviously, I'm sure you guys know this. The town of Bolivar is named after this guy, and they're the liberators.
No shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, did you know that?
Well, I just fucking learned something today.
yeah. Fun
So
fact.
there you go.
Hey, all right.
Yeah. All right. Next trailer up, the new FX series Tyrant. It's the story of an American family that is pulled into the tangles of a powerful and dangerous Middle East sect. Gideon Raff created it. He created Homeland. I don't know if you guys ever saw Homeland.
Yeah.
It's
No.
really good.
We talked about this a little bit in the last podcast after Zach had to leave. Tyrant.
Yeah.
We brought it up. It looks really, really good.
I'm on board.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I don't know really much to say about it. If you like Homeland, I'm sure you'll like Tyrant. It looks like it kind of has the same feel of just the kind of American fear right now.
Yeah.
And it kind of,
It's gritty.
it's really, yeah.
I don't know. It looks really cool, but I wish
Fictional realism is what I
I
call
just-
it.
Yeah.
the story just seems to me, and it like I said, it looks great. I just wish they would have done it a little different. Why does it have to be an American family in wherever they're going?
To make it relatable to the American audience.
Yeah.
Whatever. Fuck, man.
I mean, and he is of Middle Eastern descent. He's just going back to his home country.
Yeah, that's his family.
That's his family. He's going back for his
I
own
get
family's
it.
wedding.
I get it. Totally get it. I just don't.
Wait.
I don't
You
think
get
it would work if it was like Manchester or something like that.
I don't know.
His family's a organized soccer hooligan sect.
I'd watch that.
Yeah, okay. You're
It just seems like this has the chance to be a super racist show. That's all I'm saying.
Well, okay. Here's my thing.
well, it's the same creator, like I said earlier, Homeland, and that's not really.
Here's my problem.
race.
Here's my problem. Why is his wife a blonde, blue-eyed chick from? Why can't it just be he had a family, like he had an Iranian wife or something?
Well, I figure once she goes over there, there's going to be tensions. Being, why is this woman still dressed like? Why isn't she like part of our customs? Why isn't she wearing a hijab and like covering herself like all the other women? And so there'll be like a point of contention.
I'll
with
probably
the
give
two,
it a shot. I just don't
confronting
know.
cultures.
I don't know. Whatever.
Well, I feel like FX, we give it a lot of credit for its comedies, but we don't really talk a lot about their dramas. But they actually have
And I
some
think
really
we talked
good
about
dramas.
that
We
last
do.
week, didn't we? Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
their dramas are good.
Justified,
Sons of Anarchy.
Sons of Anarchy. There's some
Okay, yeah.
good FX drama, so I think this has a good home.
they were on our list for March Madness, so
Yeah.
No, I get it. I'm just saying.
they didn't make it far at all. But
Yeah. Well, it's because there were so many other good shows.
yeah. Next trailer up, The Judge, the story of big city lawyer that's gonna be played by Robert Downey Jr. So I'm already like, okay, I might
Already
watch
interested.
it. He has to return to his childhood home after his mom dies. His father, played by Robert Duvall, so again, I'm
Already interested.
already interested. The Robert Duvall's town judge, and he's suspected of murder. So Robert Downey Jr. has to try and find the truth about if his father really killed somebody or not. Film also stars Vincent D'Onofrio. We talked about him, Billy Bob Thornton, and Vera Farmiga, who is fine.
Every time I see Billy Bob Thornton, I think of Billy Bong Thornton from Half Baked. Okay, anyway. I really want to see this movie. It looks really good.
I'm very hesitant, though. The reason why I'm hesitant is because the director, David Dobkin, I'm not really a fan of his work. He did Fred Claus, The Change Up, and Shanghai Nights. He only did one movie that I like, and that was Wedding Crashers. So this is a different film for him. It has a serious vibe.
This looks
but
like it's more his dramatic debut, kind of.
It seems to me, though, he's got the writing and the cast to really make this work.
I've seen a lot of movies that have an A-list cast, but the director just didn't have the vision to make it work.
I think it looks really good. I really think it's going to be a good movie. I like these kind of movies anyway.
Yeah. Well, I'll wait until I hear if it's good or not. Next trailer up. The final trailer for the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I'm in line right now. I want to see this movie so bad. It has Gary Oldman, Andy Serkis, Judy Greer, and Jason Clarke. Jason Clarke came out of nowhere. That guy is in a lot of good movies.
Is that the guy who I think is Chris Pratt?
Yeah, that's the guy. Okay. He was in Zero Dark 30. He was in that Lawless movie.
Oh, that's a good movie.
With Tom Hardy.
He was one of the brothers.
He was one of the brothers, yeah.
It's a good movie.
That guy, he's a pretty good actor. Not going to lie. I could see him in the future being an Oscar nominee for something.
I'm not a huge fan of the Planet of the Apes movies, but I haven't seen the new ones.
You never saw Rise? Dude, get on that shit. Yeah. That movie was really, really good.
But this looks amazing.
This just reaffirms that I'm excited for the movie, but there's I don't think there's a whole lot to talk about because we've already talked about this quite a bit. We're all excited. I mean, there's nothing really new in this trailer that's worth
you kind of see a more deep into the storyline how the antagonist is not the human race. There's one ape that kind of...
There's one ape and one human that are basically...
Yeah, it's like one human, Gary Oldman, and then this other ape that just want to go to war with each other. Yeah, it's not Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
So it's like Andy Serkis and Jason Clarke are like, we don't want to go to war, but then there's other people that do. And
Gary Oldman from the trailer reminds me of the guy he played in the Book of Eli.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. Directed by Matt Reeves. I like him. He's only done a few films, but he did Cloverfield and Let Me In.
Let Me In was really good.
Is that the...
It's the remake of the Swedish...
Let the Right One In? That's a fucking good movie.
Let the Right One In is very good.
I haven't
Let
seen
Me
Let
In
Me
is
In.
pretty good. It's fairly faithful.
All right, right on.
But I really like Cloverfield.
Next trailer is The Two Faces of January. It's a story. It's a thriller centered on a con artist, his wife, and this dude who kind of, runs into him in Athens, and they flee because one of them, is caught covering up a death of a private detective. Stars Viggo Mortensen, love it. Kirsten Dunst and some guy named Oscar Isaac I've never heard of.
He was in that Inside Llewellyn Davis.
Haven't seen it.
Oh.
I mean, it looked good, and everybody talks about it.
Well, all right then.
And then it's directed by Hossein Amini. He was the writer for Four Feathers, Kill Shot.
Please tell me you guys have seen Four Feathers, the Heath Ledger movie.
I haven't. No.
Get on that. That movie was really freaking good.
He wrote Drive. That's a good movie. He wrote Kill Shot.
That was the...
Mickey Rourke, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah.
I really, really wanted to see that, and I was excited, and it was not that great.
Shanghai, it was okay. That was the movie that had...
Oh, John Cusack?
John Cusack. I had a brain fart there for a second. Yeah, it had John Cusack and Ken Watanabe in it.
Okay.
It was pretty good, and I actually like Snow White and the Huntsman. I liked it.
That blows my mind.
Really?
Yeah, because every time I see Kirsten... Fuck, man.
We're just
Kristen
bad
Stewart,
with names today.
Who I personally like, but most people don't. It shocks me when people like something she's in.
Another film that had Charlize Theron in it, and she was super hot in that one, too.
I'm a fan of her now.
He also wrote the script for 47 Ronin.
That Keanu Reeves movie?
Yeah,
I still kind of want to see it.
It wasn't the best.
Hey, man, it could be worse.
But Four Feathers, really freaking good.
But Two Faces of January... It reminds me of, like I said when we watched it, Viggo Mortensen reminds me of the guy he played in Eastern Promises.
Just less Russian.
Just less Russian. It looks pretty good. I mean, I think I would probably be more excited if it was somebody other than Kirsten Dunst. Because to me, it just doesn't... It seems like she's out of place.
Isn't the book written by the same guy who wrote The Talented Mr. Ripley?
Yeah.
That's a really good book and a good movie, too.
Is that the movie with... Now, is that the movie with...
Jude Law and Matt Damon.
Okay, I was thinking, wasn't there one with John Malkovich, too? I think there was.
He could have been in it.
Anyway, the movie looks all right.
Yeah, I'll definitely go and see it. And then the final trailer, Love is Strange. The story of Ben and George, who are played by You have John Lithgow and then the great Alfred Molina. I love that guy.
They make a cute couple.
They do make a
I
cute
know
couple.
they do. It's weird.
Yeah, so Ben and George get married. George is fired from his teaching job. So as soon as they get married, they have to move in separately with different members of their family. So Alfred Molina goes to one member of his family, and then John Lithgow goes to another. And it's just like they get to know their family a lot more than they really wanted to. It looks like a really good movie.
Yeah, no, it does look surprisingly good, actually.
Marissa Tomei's in it.
You know what I thought when I watched the trailer for this movie?
What?
Oscar nom.
For John Lithgow, probably, because he looked like he had Oscar nom just written all over him.
Yeah, for sure.
It's directed by Ira Sachs. I'm not really familiar with his work, so I looked it up. Here's a few films if you've seen them. He did Underground Zero, Married Life, and then he had two films called The Delta and Keep the Lights On, which are also films about the struggle of living a life of homosexuality. So
It looks like a good movie. I mean, I want to see it.
I'm on board. It looks like a fantastic movie.
All
Okay.
right. Before we move too far up from trailers, I had something to bring up.
Okay.
Oh yeah, me too. When you're done.
A couple weeks ago, we looked at the trailer for The Giver.
Yeah.
Have you seen the new trailer for The Giver?
Have not.
No.
It revitalizes my faith in this movie.
Really?
It looks so much better than the first trailer they put out.
Really?
You remember how you were criticizing how they didn't really play up the color of the aspect, the color in black and white.
Yeah.
They totally addressed that in the new trailer.
Really?
Really?
They show a lot more of the main characters versus freaking what's her name?
Just CGI.
Glenn Close or Meryl
Are you
Streep?
talking
Meryl
about
Streep,
Meryl
yeah.
Streep being in it and everything?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's only like
fuck
that
it.
one little clip of Meryl Streep, but then it focuses on the actual main characters, the Giver and the kid and everything.
Is
A
Jeff
lot
Bridges
more.
the giver?
Yes,
I think he is, isn't he?
It shows their conversation in his house, basically explaining what the Giver is. It goes into a lot more detail and does a lot better, like setting up what the movie's actually about.
You know,
So I would definitely recommend go see that trailer, and I think you'll have a better feel for what it's
Interesting.
going to be
do
like.
you know how long this movie has been in production?
A long
Over a
fucking time.
decade, because
Yeah.
there was a casting call in Missouri back in 2005 to be in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's been over a decade and a half almost that this film's been trying to get made.
So, since you're done with yours, I asked you guys the other day, and I think it's a really interesting topic to talk about. Kickstarter's getting bigger, and you have
yeah.
Indiegogo and all these crowdfunding sites. With Kickstarter being the biggest one, obviously, because when people say, when you're trying to raise funds for something, are you doing a Kickstarter? Do you ever see that as a thing, as an avenue studios use to fund or partially fund movies or even TV shows?
Here's the way I'm looking
Because
at
I
it.
think it's a coming trend.
It
I
can
really
be.
do.
Do you think it's a good idea or a bad
I
idea?
think it's a great idea.
I don't.
I do.
Well, real
And here's
fast-
the reason. A good example. In Ryan Reynolds was in the X-Men Origins Wolverine movie, and he was Deadpool. He's been trying to get a R-rated Deadpool movie. They have test footage, script, everything's ready to go. Fox doesn't want to do it because it's an R-rated movie. If he did it, if he started a Kickstarter for it, say to get the movie started, and Fox saw could see how much interest was in it, judging by donations, I think that's a movie that could get made, and I think that studios can use that to garner, to see how much
to judge or
to
something.
judge, to see kind of how interest is with a certain movie.
Well, I'd mentioned this earlier when we first brought this up. That's exactly what Warner Brothers did with the Veronica Mars movie.
Yeah.
That was distributed
what I was thinking.
by
Still
Warner
haven't
Brothers.
seen that. I need to see that shit.
I thought you did go see it.
No, I have it at home.
Oh.
Haven't seen it. I love that show, by the way.
Well, I mean that's exactly what they did. It was brought to them. They said, "Yeah, we'll do it, but we're not going to front any money for this." They crowdfunded it. That's how it got made, and Warner Brothers distributed it.
And it made a bunch of fucking money too.
Here's my problem, and here's what I think the big problem, and I hope this does not become a trend, this Kickstarter, unless this issue is addressed. People donate a shit ton of money to a project seeing nothing in return. Because on Kickstarter with a lot of movies like that, there is no way to donate as an executive producer to see a return. So you can donate maybe $10,000 to a movie as like for an indie film, but you won't get a title as an executive producer, so there's no incentive for you because there's no reward coming back to you.
Usually once you if you donate even a certain amount of money or at all, don't you get, they like promise you things back? Like, okay, well you get like
They don't have to. That's the thing.
Well, they don't have to, but you don't have to give your money either.
Right, exactly, and that's the point. You don't have to give your money. I can
But
see
I
that
think
all
with
they gotta do.
I think with the Veronica Mars thing, they didn't do that. And then whenever it was picked up by a major distributor, the people that donated got nothing in return.
I think that's just by studio. They can come up with a system of if you donate this dollar, you get this or this or this or this.
See, Rooster Teeth did that.
I say that's what
Right.
I mean, that's up to who's making the movie. That's not
Right.
the crowdfunding site itself. They
But
don't
I
set
think
that up.
honestly, when people are so interested in something that they give money to it, their return is seeing the thing being made, regardless of what happens. Like, reward incentive. I really think it could work.
if you are gonna like plan on donating thousands and thousands of dollars, that if I wanted like an EP credit, I would contact people making it, not through the crowdsourcing, but through an agent, and be like, hey, I'm willing to donate this much, but I want credit for this.
Okay,
And
yeah,
they
you
would
can
allow
do that, and they'll allow it, but they're betting on people not doing that so that there's a greater return for them. It's the same thing that happens with video games that go get Kickstarters. People donate to the development of a video game, but then they'll get nothing in return besides maybe a copy of the game with a signature on it.
But as a person, don't you have to know that that's a possibility? You need to know the rules before you start throwing your money at
But
something.
I'm saying, like, there's no risk for a developer at that point because there's no incentive for them to go out and make the best movie that they can because there's no risk for them because a production company, if they're backing you, then they can ruin you. But if you're doing a Kickstarter, they're like, oh, I made a shitty movie. It's no problem. I just Kickstarted it.
Sure. No. I can see it. Like, say they kickstart a movie, right? Whatever. Movie about zebras. And it just bombs at the box office. Total piece of shit. The blowback from that is just going to be people aren't going to either donate to that director or that studio or that type of movie. The only problem I see with doing this is when that happens, say a piece of shit comes out, people take legal action on them. So you're going to have to come up with some kind of system that A, gives them some kind of incentive or reward, and B, protects whoever's making the product from legal action.
Yeah, well,
That's the only problem I see with it. I think it's a really good idea, and I think it can really work. Because I want to see Deadpool.
Nowhere near promoting Kickstarters for films or even video games. Except for indie developers, but I don't want to see indie developers for movies and video games. I'm all for them getting Kickstarters for stuff. But when it comes to, like, say a video game developer like Ubisoft or Sony wanting to get a Kickstarter, no, I don't think that those major companies should be allowed to get a Kickstarter for
Okay,
something.
that's fine. I'm with you. But when you have an idea like Veronica Mars, where the rights are held by a major company, and they say, okay, we'll allow you to make something based off of this. However, we're not going to touch it,
That's
and it's all up
blackmail.
to you. Why is it blackmail?
It's like, oh, we'll do it, but you have to do something for us in return. As a consumer, that's not our responsibility.
No.
Our
It's the
responsibility as a
responsibility who's making
consumer.
it.
No, our responsibility as a consumer is to provide an outlet for you to develop something. We're not there to give you the money. That's not
true.
our job.
That's true. But if, say, I'm a director or I'm a producer or whatever, and I have this idea for this property I really, really want to make, and I go to Warner Brothers or Disney or whoever, and I say, you guys hold the rights to this, but I want to make this. And they're not sure, and they say, okay, we'll allow you to make it, but we're not going to fund it. I don't see the problem with that.
I could talk on this for a couple
Yeah,
hours,
I
but
mean,
we only have
It's
a couple.
It's a great question.
We only have a couple minutes left, and we have to do our balls deep working title on Tom Cruise.
Balls deep.
Now we have changed the format of this, and
It's a really good idea.
okay, from what we've been hearing back, because people are tired of us just saying, "Oh, we haven't seen this movie, we haven't seen this movie, we haven't seen this movie." Instead of going through their entire career, what we're going to do is we're just going to choose the top 10 movies, a baker's dozen, of that person, and we're just going to start from the first, like, by date, just going through, like, our top 10 movies. So we each chose 3, and then we just threw an extra one in there.
Yeah.
So we're going to start with Zach. The first movie up is Legend.
Yeah, I picked this one and put it in the list. It's the earliest one on the list, obviously. Legend is Tom Cruise is just this young guy who is living in this fantastical world, you know, unicorns and darkness and shit like that. And the Lord of Darkness, who looks like a devil, a really red demon with huge horns, starts just devouring, you know, the light, as they called it. And I think I haven't seen this since I was a kid, but I think the way he was devouring the light or destroying the light was by killing all the unicorns in the world. And then he stole Tom Cruise's lady. And Tom Cruise, obviously, his quest is to kill this guy and get his woman back.
You know who played the devil or the darkness in that movie, don't you?
No.
That was Tim Curry.
No shit.
And it was directed by Ridley Scott.
Yeah, I knew it was directed by Ridley Scott.
It's one of those movies you see when you're little, or, you know, I was 8 or 9 when I
Sort
saw
of like
it.
Labyrinth was.
Right. I still love it. I got fond memories of it. It doesn't hold up great. It's only got a 6.4 on IMDb, but
It is the lowest rated of the 10 we have on the list.
I love it, man. I do.
There's a picture.
It was
of,
this or Cocktail for my first nomination, and I like Cocktail too.
Okay, there's this picture. It's of Tom Cruise and Mia Sara, and they're on top of a unicorn. It is hands down the gayest picture I've ever seen in my life.
It's great though. I don't know. I have really good memories of this movie. It's just one of those that you know it's not great, but you love it anyway.
The next film up on Tom Cruise's list takes us to the Danger Zone. I love Top Gun so much.
Goose!
Oh, poor Goose. I think we all nominated Top Gun, so it was our 10th. You didn't nominate Top Gun? Okay.
Well, it was
our 10th.
It was
our
to round
our
out the
10th
list,
one,
yeah.
yeah.
Just because it's probably his most well-known film.
Yeah.
I would say that's true. I don't know. It's fine. Yeah.
Directed by the other Scott, Tony.
Next,
It had Tim Robbins in it.
Val
Val Kilmer, obviously.
before he got fat.
Before he got really fat.
It is our second lowest rated film on the list.
Is it really?
8, yes.
Wow. I'm
Okay.
not surprised by that. It's also one of those movies that people knew wasn't that good and it was terrible and they still loved it anyway.
It had Tom Skerritt in it. I love Tom Skerritt. That guy's
Yeah.
awesome. And also had Michael Ironside, the guy who has the coolest last name in Hollywood.
Michael Ironside.
He just sounds like a robot or something like you see in Transformers. Next film up. Is this the highest rated Tom Cruise film?
I can't.
Rain Man?
On our list, yes.
Oh, I mean on IMDb.
Not surprised.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow?
higher.
Oh, that's right. And it's not even
Holy
on our
shit,
list.
man. Wow.
Okay,
Yeah.
Rain
Who's
Man.
the chick in that movie? Olivia
Which one, Rain Man or Edge of Tomorrow?
Edge of Tomorrow.
Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
Oh, no, the one in Rain Man's Valerie Golino, and she was one of my childhood crushes.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
She was also in the Pee-wee's Big Adventure, the one where he goes to the circus, Pee-wee's Circus.
Man, when I was a kid, I loved that movie.
Well, okay, I'm the one. Did anyone else nominate this on their list? I know I did.
Which,
Rain Man.
yeah.
No, I didn't.
I wanted to, but then I had my other top three.
Okay. Well,
So this was yours.
I feel like most people have probably seen this movie. I mean, Dustin Hoffman, obviously.
The famous scene, Counting Blackjack.
Counting Blackjack. I mean, people reference it all the time. It's one of his more well-known performances. And this was a list of our favorite Tom Cruise movies, not necessarily Tom Cruise performances.
Right.
And this is an absolutely great movie, and most of that's due to Dustin Hoffman. Tom Cruise was not bad in this movie. He was actually pretty good. I think he was a good counterpart as the brother. So I really like this movie, so that's why.
What's Barry Levinson directed since then? Anything worth...
I'm not sure, to be completely honest.
He did that Wag the Dog movie. Oh, he did Donnie Brasco. Okay.
Oh, that's a good movie.
Yeah, okay. Oh, and he did Sleepers. That was the Brad Pitt, Robert De Niro movie.
I haven't
That was,
seen that
It
movie.
was messed up.
So yeah, this one had an 8.0 on IMDb, but had a 65 Metascore.
Nice.
All right, the next movie up is also one of your nominations, I believe. Number 4, A Few
No,
Good
this
Men.
was mine.
Okay, take it
no,
away.
we both
We
did.
both
We
did,
both
yeah.
did. Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
well, you guys take it away then.
I love this movie.
It's one of my favorite Tom Cruise
It
movies.
really is. Every time they play it on TNT or TBS, one of the cable channels, all the fucking time. The classic "I want the truth, you can't handle the truth," or Kevin.
Who wrote the script for that movie?
Aaron
Sorkin.
Oh, there you go.
Directed by Rob Reiner.
Kevin Pollak, Demi Moore, Kevin Bacon, Kiefer Sutherland.
I keep
Jack
forgetting
Nicholson.
Kevin Bacon's in that
Yeah.
movie.
Jack Nicholson, obviously Tom Cruise.
Kevin Pollak.
I mean, it's such a good movie. It really is. And I don't think it's... Tom Cruise is really good in this movie, but it's not the reason the movie was great. Everybody else also was great in it.
Number 5. This was definitely Zach's Interview with a Vampire.
Fucking love this. This is one of my 20 favorite movies of all time. I think most people have seen it.
Yeah.
I think this is the first movie I saw with Brad Pitt in it.
Really?
Yeah. Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, Kirsten Dunst, her first movie. I think she got an Oscar nomination for this movie. I can't remember. Anyway, Antonio Banderas.
Yeah. He was in it for
Christian
a few
Slater. It's so good, man. Tom Cruise is creepy. He plays the vampire Lestat. It's like a 3-hour movie, so it's a marathon. But if you can, are okay with that, it's worth the watch.
I think the only other movie I saw that Neil Jordan directed was Crying Game.
Haven't seen it. But
Not
Interview
the
with the
best.
Vampire is a great movie. What's next?
Number 6, Mission Impossible.
Oh, good movie.
This one's actually on the list as well because we said we had 9, and then we had to put Top Gun, and we actually had 8 because me and you both had a few good.
Oh,
names.
yeah.
Right,
So this is the other.
But
to round it
everybody-
out. Everyone knows Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible.
I think that's what made his career take off to a new level.
Yeah,
So
he was known for Risky Business,
Yeah.
and then Top Gun.
He became way more mainstream.
Yeah,
Well, this and Jerry Maguire.
Jeremy
And
Maguire too. Yeah,
directed, of course, by the great Brian De Palma.
Yeah.
Untouchable, Scarface,
Untouchable is a great movie.
Carlito's Way.
The first Mission Impossible, I remember when it first came out, not a lot of people liked it because it was way too slow burn spy thriller
yeah.
movie. But man, it was really
That's
good.
I like spy thrillers
Yeah.
like that.
It was much better than the second and third one, even though I liked the second one.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably the best one in the series, along with Ghost Protocol. Ghost Protocol is really good.
Next film up, this is one of my nominations, Minority Report.
So I nominated this one too.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
This movie's really, really freaking good.
This I actually the first time I watched this movie, I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And I did not like it at all.
Really?
It took a second and third view for me to really like this movie.
Huh, that's interesting.
But it really grew on me. But the first one, I don't know. It took me a while to get into it. I think.
This is the first movie I liked Colin Farrell in.
Yeah.
I was like,
that.
okay, I didn't like him before that. I'm like, okay, he's really good in this movie. And Steven Spielberg directed it.
This is a really cool plot for those of you who haven't seen it. Essentially, there's a police force. They have the technology to see if people committing crimes before they're actually committed, and they arrest them before they actually commit the crimes.
Which is bullshit.
That's part of the storyline.
Right.
Is it ethical to do this? Because the people actually haven't committed crimes yet. We just know they're going to. But do we really know, or do we just think we know?
Yeah.
I haven't actually seen
Very
this
cool
movie.
concept.
Yeah. Could circumstances have been changed to make them not commit
With
the
the
crime?
crime.
Yeah,
instead of
like-
just arresting them.
I think
Yeah.
a better idea would be okay, say the crime's going to be committed after they go to the grocery store or something. We'll just hold them up a little bit longer, and maybe their minds change. You don't know.
Yeah.
This one has the 10 has the highest Metascore of an 80.
Really?
And then the
I don't really
IMDb rating
trust
7.7.
Metascores anymore. They're just so sporadic and
They are.
Well,
but
we
it's
aren't
good.
fans-
It's good to compare to the IMDb rating to see if they're just way off.
Yeah.
There's kind of a discrepancy, but
See,
they're in the same
between
range.
critics and fans.
Yeah.
I don't like reviews anyway. I don't think any of us do. But what's next?
this is one of my nominations. 2003, The Last Samurai.
Great movie.
My second favorite Tom Cruise movie.
It's really good.
Up next is my favorite Tom Cruise.
Lowest Metascore rating on the list, by the way,
Is it
55.
really? 55?
Really?
Fuck that. It's fucking great movie. I love this movie. Edward
Last
Wake-
Samurai is amazing.
Yeah. It's, it's ironic, The Last Samurai. It's Tom Cruise.
It's ironic too that it's like, oh, the white guy's here to save the Japanese people.
It's
but-
sort of like a Dances with
And
Wolves
you were worried about
storyline.
Tyrant being racist.
hey man,
We gotta bring the white guy
I
in to save
like
the-
this movie.
Oh, so it's not racist if it's good.
Anyway,
But Tom Cruise, Ken Watanabe, Billy Connolly.
That's why they had to change the Redskins
Billy
name because they're
Con-
not good.
Billy
Yeah.
Connolly's in this movie,
Yeah, it's another movie he dies in. That guy dies in every freaking movie.
except the first Boondock Saints.
Yeah, he died in the second one. He died in a Muppet movie.
Did he really?
Yeah, Muppet Treasure Island. He died like 3 minutes into the movie.
That's funny.
That guy dies in every movie. But Last Samurai, yeah, he dies in that too. I don't know if I can say enough good things about Last Samurai, so I'm just gonna say go and see it.
What's
Next, we're moving on to my number one Tom Cruise movie. Came out 2004, Collateral.
This has got Jamie Foxx.
Jamie Foxx
Foxx,
in it and Jada Pinkett Smith
Isn't this
and Mark Ruffalo.
is this movie on Netflix?
I don't believe it is.
I don't think so.
I need to see it.
I gave it a 10 out of 10.
They played this on TV quite a bit.
I haven't seen the whole movie.
Really?
I need to watch it.
Michael Mann directed it.
Fuck, didn't he direct Heat?
He did direct Heat.
God damn it, that's a great movie.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know what Collateral is about, Tom Cruise is a hired hitman who has to kill 5 people before his plane in L.A. before his plane leaves the next morning. So he gets in a cab, and the cab driver's Jamie Foxx. He said, "Hey, buddy, I'll give you $600 if you stick with me for the rest of the night. I just need to make a few stops, make some business transactions, and then just drop me off in the morning at the airport." And Jamie Foxx is like, "For $600, yeah, I'll do it."
Doesn't he
And then he
offer him more and more money as the night goes on just to keep going?
No.
No? Okay, I thought that was...
He takes him hostage pretty much. He's like, "If you do anything, I will kill you." Because Jamie Foxx finds out, oh shit, he's killing people.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, you're not going anywhere now."
Right on.
And it's a story of how a mild, meek guy like Jamie Foxx goes from that to survival mode, pretty
Right.
much, and how that changes him forever. And it's very philosophical, really. It's like, I think there's a very famous line where Tom Cruise is saying, "Have you ever heard of Rwanda?" He's like, "Yeah, I know Rwanda." He's like, "Yeah, tens of thousands of people killed before sundown. Did you bat an eye? Did you join Greenpeace, Amnesty, Save the Whales, anything like that?" "No, I just killed one guy in Los Angeles and you're throwing a hissy fit."
Yeah. I need to see it.
Oh, it's a great
You haven't seen
movie.
Collateral?
I haven't.
Dude,
It is good.
fucking
I need to watch
best
it.
movie. And then the last movie we're going to talk about, Tom Cruise takes a 180 in his career,
yeah.
and he does one of his best performances, I think.
Even though it's only for a few minutes.
Yeah,
It's a
wasn't
few
it like
minutes,
5 minutes
But
maybe?
I think he should have got an Oscar nomination for Tropic Thunder. Oh my god, it was so incredible. I don't know if I can say enough good things about how funny his character. Those fucking hands, those hand gloves.
Giant hairy mitts.
It took me forever to realize that it was
It took
Tom
everyone
Cruise.
a while to realize that's
I'm like-
who it was.
I know that voice. Who is that guy? Who is? Holy is that Tom Cruise?
You know what? Like honestly, like that's probably the closest portrayal to his actual personality in a movie.
I will fuck you up.
Like, all he had to do was jump on a couch and scream, "I love her."
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, yeah, I got it.
You had me at hello. All right. Is that going to do our top 10 Tom Cruise films?
Yeah.
We went balls deep.
Do we want to mention what our favorite on the list is?
Okay,
We haven't
yeah.
already. I think we already said yours.
Yeah, Collateral's definitely mine.
Interview with the Vampire.
Okay.
For sure.
A Few Good Men.
Oh, really? I thought you would have chose Rain Man, really.
Not A Few Good Men.
Okay, well, because
I
you're
love
Aaron
Aaron
Sorkin.
Sorkin.
Okay, yeah, okay, that does it. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining episode 16 of the See It Podcast. If you'd like to follow us on Twitter, you can find us on @C_it_podcast. You can also find us on Facebook at /The See It Podcast. You can also find us on YouTube at /See It Podcast. Thank you to Podomatic. They're the ones that give out the content over iTunes. You can also subscribe to us on iTunes as well. So everybody listening, we'll catch you next time. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.